Let's talk about boundaries. Years ago, I really want to strengthen my toolbox around boundaries. And so somebody said, go to a cuddle party. Like, really? They're like, yeah, it's all about boundaries. I'm like, okay, let's do that. That week so happened there was 2 cuddle events, and I went and I was like, wow, it was amazing. And what I learned, there's so much to learn about boundaries in relationship. And in the cuddle, it's mostly about if you want to be touched, if you don't want to be touched, maybe how you want to be touched, how you want to cuddle, how you don't, maybe if you want space. And that's a lot of the reasons, a lot of things that we practice in a cuddle. But in real life, there's also more things. And I mean, this can happen in an event as well, but it's like in real life, boundaries come up in all kinds of shapes and forms. It can mean my boundary with myself is I don't have refined sugar. So if I'm dating somebody and they know that and then they bring me like a lot of sugary things, then that would be breaking a boundary of mine. So it's like you want to honor your partner's boundaries. If somebody, says, I don't like to be touched this way, it's a really good thing not to touch them that way. If somebody asks for space, now there's a lot of things that can go along with this. But if somebody needs space, now if they're not asking for, I need 3 months of space, that's a conversation that you need to have. And that's something that, both parties need to get together and have a conversation. But if you're like asking for a few hours or a few days or even up to a week, it's, and your partner knows why, it's like, just give it to them. Fully give it to them. Because it's showing respect, it's showing you're honoring them, it's showing that you care about them. If you keep calling or texting and pushing that boundary or even showing up their place, guess what? You are breaking their boundaries. And then you're showing them that you're not trustworthy, and they're showing them that their boundaries don't mean anything to you. And you're proving to them the point of why should they ever be in relationship with you if you cannot honor this. Whether that's with time, whether it's with touch, whether it's with food, whether it's with experience, whatever it is, like there's so many different ways that we can ask for things in our life, and we want to honor those in our partners, in our relationships, and whether it's an event, whether it's an intimate relationship or a friendship. Like sometimes you need to tell your friends, like, I really need this. Like, I'll give you an example. Years and years ago, I had a girlfriend, and I'm a touchy-feely person. And it's so funny, I was like 21 when I was like, it was so funny how much I really knew myself back then. And I went to her, and she's not a touchy-feely person at all. Everybody loved her, and everybody of course wanted to touch her, but she was like, oh no. And I went to her one day and I said, I know you're not a touchy-feely person, I get it, but I don't really know how to be friends with you if I can't touch you. And she's like, what do you mean? I mean, like, when we're having a conversation, I need to be able to touch you. I know you're not going to wince, or you're not going to, I'm not going to be crossing your boundary. And I also, would love to hug you when I say hello, and hug you when I say goodbye. And, she sat there and was like, because I really didn't want to cross her boundaries, but I needed to get what I needed. And I was like, And she thought about it, and she's like, yeah, okay, I can do that. And so when I went to leave that day, I went up and hugged her goodbye. And it was so funny. My boyfriend was like, went up to hug her, and she's like, oh, not ready for that. But it's like they had not set the container. And it's like, it's so beautiful to set the container and make everybody feel safe. And from then on, like, we got along really, really great. I felt comfortable because I knew not to be like touching her all the time. Like some of my girlfriends are like, and even my male friends, I can touch them on the arm a lot. But I knew with her, like, just a little bit. And that made me like happy. And she didn't feel like I was crossing her boundaries. So it's like working out. Sometimes you have to work boundaries out. So really invite you to honor your boundaries, honor other boundaries, and just Yeah. Be a hell yes when you're a hell yes, and when you're not a hell yes, you're a no. Life gets a lot more simple when you live this way. So if you have any questions about boundaries or anything like this video, ask me any questions. Ciao.